going to hit record and it's going to be all good. So let's just hit record here.
Recording in progress.
All right. Welcome everyone to day one of the Network Marketers Bootcamp. My name is Mandy Summers, and I would actually love to hear if you have attended one of these before. So if you have attended a Network Marketers Bootcamp before, will you put a 1 in the comments? And if this is your first time, go ahead and put a 2 in the comments. I would love to hear from you. We do this I don't know, every 2 to 4 months. And it is specifically designed for network marketers by network marketers to help you really figure out how to effectively grow your team, not just in person, but online as well. So I wanted to give you a little background of who I am and why I'm here and why I'm sharing this with you. So I actually started in the network marketing space a little over 13 years ago. And I absolutely love being in the network marketing space. Actually, at the time, I didn't realize I was going to love it, but I love the ability that I have to work when I want to work, and really my efforts equal my pay. And I love that. And so that has been critical and huge for me over the past, I don't know how many, 13 years. It's just been amazing for our family. So super, super grateful for that. In this class today, my intention for you is to learn to create, not just today, but this week. So the Network Marketers Bootcamp is actually a 5-day bootcamp. Every day builds on the next. And this is a bootcamp that will help you to create systems, create a plan, create kind of vision for your network marketing business. And what honestly, I developed this system when I was stuck in network marketing. And so you're going to hear all about my journey being in this space for 13 years. I am not one of those people who instantly went to the top. I started out, your average stay-at-home mom, and spent years building on the side. And it wasn't until the last couple of years that I was like, you know what, I'm really going to start taking this seriously, and realized that I had to create systems, and I had to hold the vision. We're going to talk all about that throughout this week. So it's going to be amazing. And I'm actually really glad that you're here, because I feel like when you put time into learning for your specific business, that will come back in huge dividends for you. And so my intention is to help to teach you, and hopefully you will learn to create content that converts, automations that will revolutionize your business. That's really the intention for that. So today we're going to be talking about becoming the CEO of your network marketing business. This is something that I actually didn't really think about until a couple of years back, that it was more than just saying I was a CEO. I actually had to act like a CEO. So I would love for you to put in the comments CEO if you have thought of yourself as the CEO of your business. And I would love for you to put no if you haven't. I always love to hear back and forth. What your thoughts are on these types of things. So yeah, we've got a number of CEOs. We've got a couple that have said no, a couple that have said lazy CEO. No. Okay. I love it. And that's actually where I was. I was like the lazy CEO, where I was saying it, but I wasn't necessarily doing it. Then tomorrow we're going to talk about leading with income actions. And so what does this mean? This means that what drives your business are going to be the things that actually create income. And so we're going to talk about that and what that looks like. And then on Wednesday, we're going to talk about unlocking your story with authenticity, because if you want to share your product online, you have to be able to share your story in a way that connects with other people. And so super important. On day 4, we're going to be talking about the recipe for long-term success. So this is more than just like a one and done. You've posted a party, posted or hosted, and you're like, okay, great, I'm done. Like, hopefully that was enough. That we are long-term visionaries here. And I want to know if you see yourself as this long-term visionary, because that, it to me, is a huge part of being the CEO that we're going to talk about today. And then on Friday, we're going to talk about closing with confidence and what that takes to close with confidence. So we have a brand new time. We usually do this at noon on Mondays through Fridays. And we decided to try something a little earlier this week at 9:30. We'll kind of see how this goes. And maybe next time we'll go back to our normal time. But yeah. Okay. So Valen says, I'm a long-term visionary. I love it. Then you are going to love this class for today, because we're going to talk all about that. So here's a little bit more about me. I'm a Blue Diamond in our network marketing company. I did not get there fast. I actually just hit Blue Diamond a couple years back. And so it took me a good 11 years to reach that high rank in our company. I am the grand prize incentive trip winner, which most people will do that at the beginning of their network marketing career. I actually did it 2 years ago. So it was towards, like, I was very seasoned, and I actually thought I couldn't actually ever win something like that, because I had already rank advanced in our company. And a lot of times incentives are based on rank advancements. But thankfully, somehow we were able to pull that off. And actually, everything that I teach this week are the strategies that I had learned in order to become that incentive trip winner. And then I'm also a founder 2.0 in our company, which basically means I'm part of a profit sharing program. We pushed really hard, met some requirements, and have achieved that status. And so we forever will be connected with our company because of this status. It's amazing. I actually have a podcast called Marketing Wellness with one of my favorite business besties, Roxanne Ray. And so you can follow us there. I'm a YouTuber. You can find me at on youtube.com /Mandy Summers. And you'll see a ton of content on there. We're just about to 10,000 subscribers. So that's super exciting. And then I'm a mom of 4. But I also wanted to put in here, kind of like, a lot of times you'll see like the good. And I want to show you that it always hasn't been good for me in this business, right? Like, put a 3 in the comments if you have ever been stuck in network marketing. I'm just curious. Like, is it just me? Okay, so I'm actually a stroke survivor. When I have a weird blood clotting disorder, and about 12 years ago, I had a full-blown stroke. It wasn't just a small one. I actually had some mini strokes as well, and it rocked my world. I don't know if you've ever had a health condition before that kind of changed your life forever. And having that experience taught me a few valuable lessons. In my opinion, it kind of ended up being a blessing in disguise, because I learned to value life differently than I had before. And I learned that every single day was important, and that it was important for me to show up every single day. And so I actually went from diamond to silver. That's backwards, in case anybody's wondering. And I was stuck there for years. And so if you've been stuck, I have been stuck too. And I just want you to know that. And I was struggling. I couldn't find my voice. I couldn't find my people. If you've ever felt that, where you're just like, I have this amazing product, it's going to be incredible, and why can't I connect with people, and why can't I get it to be what I'm wanting, get my business to be what I'm wanting it to be? I was there. I've been there, done that. And I want you to know that it's okay to struggle. And hopefully today you'll have some direction on how to regain your power when you are struggling, and how to kind of bust through that. So I want to start with this. This is actually really funny. If you're on Instagram, I'm so sorry you're not seeing this. You know what? I'll post this picture in my stories. It's actually kind of embarrassing. This is a picture of me with my beehive. I actually just started a brand new hobby, and I have become a beekeeper. Do we have any beekeepers in this group? I actually get my first bees today. Right after this call, we're going to go pick them up. I have spent a couple months learning. I have obviously painted my hive to match my branding colors. And yesterday I tried on my bee suit. It's huge. It's like a triple XL. I'm like, I don't know why. It's like that big, but as you can tell, it's huge. I look like an astronaut. Um, but as I've been going through and learning all about what it takes to raise bees and to be a beekeeper, I've learned some valuable lessons that have to do with growing a business. And so I wanted to share with you, there are 3 different types of bees. There's the drone bee, and really their main job is to fertilize the queen. And then we, of course, have worker bees, and they actually have a lot of different jobs that they can do. Some of them get food, some of them scout out, some of them protect the hive. Worker bees are the smallest bee that there is, and they're all female. And um, the hive kind of works around the queen. The queen is the one that keeps the hive going. She sets the mood of the hive, and she is really the leader of the hive. I wanted to give you a couple facts about queen bees, and I want you to think about this in terms of your business. The queen of the hive, the entire mood of the bee colony depends on the queen. She controls it with a special pheromone, which unifies the bees in her care. Okay, so isn't that crazy? This is like fact number 1. Number 2 is she lays sometimes up to 3,000 eggs in just one day, and along with doing some other things. And so she is the ultimate multitasker. And queens are not just born. And this is a very important part of today's lesson. Queens are made. Baby queens are fed some royal jelly instead of honey or pollen, and that helps them to develop what they need to become the queen. And so as we kind of go through this lesson today, I want you to think of yourself as the queen bee of your network marketing business. You're the one that sets the stage. You're the one that sets the mood for your team. You're the one that really leads the way. And that requires different action than just worker bees. And so as we kind of go through this, I want you to think, are you being a worker bee, or are you showing up as the queen bee? Those are the questions that we've got, right? You know, the beautiful thing about when a hive works together, you end up with amazing products, not just honey. You get amazing beeswax. There's like so many things that come when a hive unifies and really follows this queen and her lead. And I don't know about you, but I love honey so much. This is why I'm a beekeeper. And it's fascinating. Like, there's so much more that we could talk about with this, but I'm not going to go into all of it today. But I just want you to think, like, the ultimate result is gold, right? Like, it's golden. It's pure gold. And that's exactly what I want for you as you are building your network marketing business, is to have this vision to unify your team and ultimately achieve those goals and get to that destination you're looking for. So let's talk about being a CEO. Okay, what does it take to be a CEO? The average CEO salary in the US is $165,280. Okay, I want you to put a 5 in the comments if that is lower than you thought it would be, and I want you to put a 7 if you thought that was higher, and a 10 if you're like, yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking. So we've got a couple 5s coming in. Okay, so this was actually lower than I thought it was going to be too. And there's a couple things that I want you to look at here. There's a base salary, and think of this in terms of network marketing, right? All of us have these compensation plans, and we often will think, if we were to get a job, it would be simple. But if you're the CEO of a company, you have a base salary, you have a bonus plan that's based on the like what's happening with the company. You have profit sharing. So if the company does better, you get a higher profit. There's commissions that are paid out. And so then you have this total pay. Does this sound familiar? Does this sound like network marketing? And so this is why I wanted to start with this class for the Network Marketers Bootcamp. Is if you are a CEO, or if you want to think of yourself as a CEO, you have to start showing up and acting like one. So today we're going to talk about What do CEOs do? What are the roles that they play? How do they effectively connect with their team? And how can you become a CEO just like I have? And I look back and I think there was a time in my network marketing business where maybe I didn't have the confidence that I needed to be that CEO. Have you ever felt that where you're like, well, I'm in network marketing, but I'm not good at this or I'm not good at that. I struggle with this and I struggle with that. And what happens is we end up focusing in on the struggle instead of focusing in on the development. CEOs, just like queen bees, they develop into that. And so hopefully today's class will give you the royal jelly you need to become the queen bee of your network marketing business, the CEO that you've always wanted to be. So let's talk about how to be a CEO. And I want you to think of this in terms of like stepping stones that you go through, right? Like that you have to like take that first step up. Now, one thing I did as I have really developed my skills in the business space and the online space over the last 20 years that I've been in business, but really more in the last 5 years where I have been targeted with how to become the best CEO of my network marketing business. The very first thing that I realized was the CEOs are vision keepers. And I want you to think about that. Are you somebody who is a vision keeper or are you a vision destroyer? Right? Like, are you caring for your vision? Are you, or are you a complainer? Are you focusing in on what's not working? And is that trickling down? Right? Does that trickle down to the people that are in your organizations? Vision, I think that this is probably one of the most crucial parts of being a CEO is understanding how important your vision is. Understanding how important that feeling of hope is for all the people that you're leading. So the CEO's vision is the motivating factor for the team. This is really what motivates them. So if you are struggling with a network marketing team that's not motivated, then the first thing I would do is I would go back to your vision and I would ask myself, am I effectively sharing my vision? You have to do some self-reflection. What is my vision? And am I holding space for the future? Am I stuck in the past or am I really focused in towards the future? The CEO paints the picture of the possible future. So the possibilities of the future. You are the artist of the future of your network marketing company. And so when you think about that in terms of vision, what was happening to me, and so I'm going to tell you some of my personal stories because I've been there, done that. I'm in the network marketing space. I know what it's like to be successful, and I know what it's like to struggle, right? And so when I was struggling in the network marketing space and I was having a hard time gaining traction, I was stuck in the past. Every day I would wake up and I'd be like, oh, these are the things that aren't working. And what if, I'm pulling things like, has anybody ever had like nobody show up to a class? Put a 0 in the comments if you've ever hosted a class or a party and you're like, nobody showed up. Okay, I totally have been there. Okay, we got a ton of zeros coming in. I'm so glad it's not just me. But I would pull that evidence like nobody showed up and like I would just beat myself up over that instead of being like, I'm going to host this amazing class and it's going to be so fun. Even though I had evidence that I had a couple classes where nobody showed up to, I chose not to focus in on the hundreds, if not thousands of classes where lots of people showed up. I mean, I look back and I think, what about the class when we hosted it at a community center and we had to close the doors? We had 40 people show up. That was the max capacity. 39 of those enrolled that day. 39. So when you are thinking of vision and future, instead of pulling evidence from the past of things that aren't working, even if you're feeling stuck, you have to think of those days that were successful. You have to pull from those days that you're like, okay, this was incredible. And that fuels your future. That fuels your vision of the future. Instead of using the past to relive over and over again. And so what happens is you end up having the same day over and over again. So, number one, a CEO, they're a visionary. And I would like to ask each one of you, do a little inventory on a scale of 1 to 10. How is your vision for your team? On a scale of 1 to 10. Do you feel like you're killing it? Do you feel like you're really effective at sharing that vision, not just with your team, but with people outside your team? Because if you're struggling to recruit, if you're struggling to find people who want to try your product or become business partners, I would go right back to the vision and I would ask myself, what is the vision? What am I trying to create? And what's the struggle that I have going on here? Okay. Yeah. We don't want to be living. I love it. Somebody said Groundhog Day. And that's so true, because when we pull that history from the past, we are living Groundhog Day. We're literally living in the past because every day it's the same. We have to get out of that mindset. CEOs get out of that mindset and they are forward thinking. One of my favorite quotes is, faith is always pointed towards the future. I love that quote. So, number two, CEOs are decision makers. And this is actually a huge one. And I see this all the time, especially in our Network Marketers Academy, that is our course that we have for network marketers. A lot of network marketers struggle with making decisions. And CEOs are actually really good at making decisions. In fact, I pulled up a couple quotes, and the former Greyhound CEO, Stephen Gorman, who led the bus operator through a turnaround, said, "A bad decision was better than lack of direction. Most decisions can be undone, but you have to learn to move with the right amount of speed." And so if you're stuck in indecision, your entire team will be stuck in indecision. Just like at the beginning, when we talk about the queen, you set the tone for your team. So if you're unable to make decisions, your team will not move forward. So how do we apply this to network marketing? If you're unable to decide when you're going to host your first class, if you're unable to decide what your vision is for the future, if you're unable to decide what piece of content you want to post, like there's so many things on a daily basis, who you want to invite, if you're unable to decide what type of person you want to work with, you want to partner with, this is when you're going to struggle significantly. So it's so important for you to get good at making decisions quickly. Jerry Bow, the CEO of a private label manufacturer, said, "Once I have 65% certainty around the answer, I have to make a call. I ask myself two questions. First, what's the impact if I get it wrong? And second, how much will it hold other things up if I don't move on this?" And okay, that is liquid gold. Just it's honey, okay? Because I want you to soak that in. If you are not making decisions, who and what is that holding up in your business? And so often we want to do so much more, right? Like so often we have this vision of the future where we're just like, we want to do these things, but we're stuck in indecision. CEOs decide. They decide confidently, they decide in a timely manner, and they are informed, at least 65% informed, to make these decisions. They don't have to know everything before they move forward. In our network marketing space, I have run into thousands of people who are like, "Oh, as soon as," right? Like, as soon as I know more, as soon as I have more education, yes, I will go back. As soon as I have this or that, as soon as I can do this, I will then move forward. Well, you have to make the decision to just get it done. Stop waiting to feel like you're fully you have 100% of all the information. CEOs, they move forward in a fast manner. Okay, the tip number 3 becoming the CEO of your network marketing business. CEOs are proactive adapters. Okay. And this is actually, I think, in our network marketing space, a lot of people will focus in on the strengths finders test. And they're like, oh, these are my strengths. And what I hear is these are my strengths. And also the ones at the bottom, these are my weaknesses. Has anybody thought that? Put a 5 in the comments if you're like, oh, I have my strength finders. I'm so good at connecting and I'm really good at this, but I'm terrible at consistency, right? Like, because consistency is one of them. And so what that does is that fuels that excuse to not have to adapt. And we think, well, I'm going to lead with my strengths, and which is good. That, yes, we 100% want to do that, but that doesn't mean that those other things are thrown by the wayside. We have to learn to adapt. We have to learn to be able to connect with those people and those tasks and those traits that might not be our strengths. And one of the ways that we can do that is to find business partners that help to kind of fill in that gap, and also to hire people that help to fill in that gap. But we proactively know how to adapt. On Inc.com, it says, leaders who can navigate uncertainty, embrace change, and pivot when necessary are better positioned to lead their teams and organizations to success. So what does this mean for us as network marketers? We have to eliminate out of our minds, out of our voices that we're saying things like, oh, I'm just not good at that. Oh, I can't do that. Oh, this is like so hard. Guess what? If you want to become a CEO and get that average income that CEOs make, like, do you think that CEOs have had an easy life? No, they have worked hard to develop the traits, the strengths, the things that they need to truly lead and succeed. And so you have to remember that adapting and embracing the fact that, yes, we all have things that are not our strengths, but that doesn't mean that we ignore those things. Okay. That means that we do the things that we need to adapt, to embrace a growth mindset, to build resilience on our teams, and to keep showing up over and over and over again. Super important, which brings us to our point number 4, which is CEOs. They are reliably consistent. Now, let's just have a little conversation about this one, because as I have been a network marketer over the years, I have been in and out of consistency, right? And this comes in different waves, like for different types of network marketing. It could be that like one month you're on fire and you're like, I'm so good at this, and you're hosting classes, and the next month life happens. Okay, can I just tell you, in May, my youngest daughter is graduating from high school, and we will be empty nesters here soon. This is a huge life event for us. And a lot of times in network marketing, those life events kind of like trump what we're actually doing, right? And so that consistency can go from, okay, we're being super consistent, and then we drop off the face of the planet. How many of you know of any company that has a CEO that can drop off for like 1 month at a time, and the business continues to thrive? It's just not like realistic, right? If you want to grow a network marketing business that is thriving, that creates an amazing future for you, it is crucial that you are reliably consistent. And so that shows up in many different ways. You're reliably consistent with all of the income producing activities, which we're going to talk about tomorrow. And you don't focus in on just one of them. You are well equipped to do all of them. And Mary Beth says CEOs cannot drop off unless they have a team. And that is so true. So true. But even then, CEOs cannot disconnect completely. They always have to be checking in. And to build that team, what happens in network marketing is a lot of times we show up and we start building this baby little team. And so let me just share, this is what happened with me. I was, growing at a steady pace in our network marketing company, and went from 0 to diamond in about 5 years. I loved it. I was super excited. I was doing this while being at home with my kids. And then I hit the rank of diamond and I thought, I'm going to take a breather. We're just going to take a breather. Okay, this was the worst thing I could have done for my business. But it takes so long to and so much work to get to those higher ranks, right? And I was just like, I'm going to take a couple months. A couple months turned into about, I don't know, maybe 3 to 6 months. I was in, but not really. I wasn't in at the level that I was in before. And what had occurred is a diamond in our network marketing business is an awesome rank, but it hasn't really solidified the income potential for my personal enrollees that helped me get there. Really, that presidential diamond spot is where you have leaders that are like, okay, this is a good income and I can't give it up, right? And so for me, I kind of put the brakes on, and what happens is that flywheel, it actually slows down and you lose that momentum or that motivation. So if you've got momentum, motivation that's on your team, and this is why it's important that we have to be reliably consistent with our teams. As the CEO, you get to set that scene, and it doesn't mean that you can't you can never take time off. But what it does mean is you can't disconnect and disappear and expect your team to just continue on. You are the leader. You are the one that's leading them. And so being reliably consistent is so important. The Harvard Business Review said a stunning 94% of the strong CEO candidates we analyzed scored high on consistently following through on their commitments. So this is huge because the first commitment we are always willing to kind of hedge on and go back on is the commitment to our goals, the things that we want. How often are we willing to show up for other people? But then when things get hard and maybe it's it's for us, we're willing to kind of back off a bit, right? So it's so important that our commitments become important because once again, we're setting the stage for our team. They're following. The Harvard Business Review also said the single most common mistake among first-time CEOs, committed by a surprisingly 60% of them. Now, I would venture to say this is 90% in network marketing. Was not getting the right team in place quickly enough, which is why I would say this is totally applicable to network marketers. For CEOs choosing talent, the stakes are high and the missed obvious. The successful ones are most decisively to upgrade talent. They set a high bar and focus on performance relevant to the role rather than the personal comfort or loyalty, two criteria that often lead to bad calls. Okay, so I want you to think about that because I've actually experienced this in our network marketing business. I ran the first 8 years of my network marketing business being like, anybody who is willing and able, come and work with me. And of course, now we want anybody on our team, but those critical people who are running with me, who are my qualifiers, who are the ones that every single day I need to be in the trenches with. Okay, this is crucial that they are highly motivated, that they are also in the CEO mindset. And I'll tell you, many of you know my podcast partner, Roxanne Ray. She is absolutely incredible. When she decided, so she owns a marketing agency, and when she decided to jump into network marketing with me, before she ever even hosted a class, she spent 2 full months calling people, sharing her vision with them, and asking them to be on her team. This was before she ever even had a class, before she had sold any product. And every day she would pick up the phone. She would send emails to people. She would reach out to her list. She would interview them so that she got the team in place. And you know what this did for her? She was able to very quickly, within 2 months, rank up to gold in our company. Within, I think, 9 months, she hit diamond. And she has a very loyal and consistent team. They are committed just like she is. She's not having to like go and find new people to be on her team anymore. And the way that we set it up back then was I told her, I'm like, to get to diamond, you're going to need 4 people that are your ride or dies. Like they are with you till the end. And underneath each of them, you're going to need 3. So you're going to need a total of 15 people, right? You're 4 up top and then 9. Wait, that's wrong. 4 up top and then 12. Sorry. So we're 16 people. I always do the math wrong. And she went and she filled all those spots before ever having her very first class. Now that is what an effective CEO does. They share their vision. They go after what they want. And I remember many of the people were like, oh, we're going to wait and see. And she's like, you're going to want to be in this now. This is not a wait and see thing. This is a be in this now. So huge benefits to putting the team in place, as opposed to just being like, hey, my best friend, my neighbor, the person that I met here or there, and hoping that they're going to perform to the level, even though you haven't really even shared that vision with them. Okay. Our next one, and this is our 5th and our final CEO tip for network marketers. We are relentless dreamers. Period. End of story. Relentless dreamers. And this means not only do we hold that vision, I feel like the vision is really like the direction of the company, and the dreams are what really like what we're working for, why we're working towards that, like what's the focus of it, and what is fueling that desire to work. We relentlessly dream. Now, Mick Jagger said, lose your dream and you might lose your mind. And I just want you to think about that for a minute. Because when I read this quote, I was like, okay, so true. If you're stuck in network marketing, do you not sometimes feel like you're losing your mind? Put a 7 in the comments if you're like, yes, Mandy, I have felt this before, where it's just like, why is this not working? Why can I not do this right? What's happening? We've got tons of 7s coming in. I love it. It's so true. If you lose your dreams, you might lose your mind and really have no direction. Now, I want to share this last weekend. I was hanging out with my youngest daughter and my husband, and we were prepping for prom was the next day. And so we just turned on a movie the night before as we were doing things with the dress and like just different trying hair and makeup, like doing these different things. And we turned this movie on. It's called King Richard, and it's about Venus and Serena Williams. Okay, first, put a 1 in the comments if you watch this movie. Okay, so I was so inspired by this movie because the dad of Serena and Venus actually, in my opinion, was the CEO of their career after watching this movie. He had a vision. He actually saw potential before they were ever born and told his wife, we need to have 2 more kids and we're going to raise them up to be tennis players. So from the time they were born, that was the plan. He had a full plan laid out. He could see the future. He told them, you're going to win Wimbledon. You're going to be the greatest players ever. Like from the time they were born, he set that vision for them and he never lost it, not once. It continued on. And he over and over and over again reminded not just his daughters. He held that vision for them. He reminded the community. He reminded the coaches. And this was super unique because on top of, them being tennis players, they were actually obviously you can see they're these cute little Black girls who had never busted through the tennis world. He knew that he was putting them in a situation that there had never been success in this situation. And these 2 obviously became the greatest of all time. And here was an amazing quote when they were, I want to say like 11 and 12. one of their coaches said, I think you might have the next Michael Jordan. And he said, no, brother, I've got the next two. Like, he didn't just hold the vision for one. He knew he was raising these incredible young girls to be the best of all time. And they got flack from their neighbors that they were pushing them too hard. They dealt with a lot, and it's an amazing story. So I would recommend just go and watch it. But ultimately, she did. Venus won the Wimbledon. This was the plan, right? And Serena is, most people will say she's the greatest player of all time. So between these two, he was able to create a plan that was super successful. And think about this. He created this plan before they were born, and it took years and years to accomplish. Not just like overnight. A lot of times, especially in network marketing, we want overnight success, but we have to hold that vision, because what will happen when we hold that vision? We will succeed. So I have some homework for you, and we're going to post this in the Facebook group. If you have not made it into the is there anybody in here? Put a 3 in the comments if you have not made it into the Facebook group, and we can get you a link for that. We're going to post the homework for today. Every day is going to build on the next. And so today's is really going to help you with tomorrow's. What I have found is when we are doing these 5-day intensive boot camps for network marketers, we have to build them out in a systematic way so that you can come back you can build a successful plan. It's like exactly what Richard Williams did, not King, that's what it's called, but Richard Williams, Serena and Venus's dad, he created a plan. And so today the homework is, I want you to write out, what is your vision for the future? And how will you keep that dream alive? I want you to identify that. What are the things? And this is super important, because a lot of times it's easy for us to dream, but when the days are hard, how do we keep that vision alive? How do we keep that dream alive? So then the next thing I want you to do is, and let me just, okay, good. I was like, am I doing this on YouTube? Do I have my screen shared? I do. Decisions. I want you to think about what decisions need to be made to move forward. What are the decisions that are keeping you stuck right now? Are you struggling with what message you want to share with the world? Are you struggling with which class is going to be the best for you to teach, which product that you want to share? Are you struggling with like what type of business partner do you want? You're not sure, so you're just waiting. It's so important for you to jump into those decisions and get them made. And then finally, your commitment. When things get hard, what do you need to stay committed? This is probably the most important part of today's homework, because no matter what, you're going to have hard days. It's just part of the process. And it's kind of interesting. The more successful I have become, I feel like the more negativity can come at me. And something that 7 years ago would have crushed me doesn't even, like, it brushes right over me now, because I have unwavering commitment. And I know that when things get hard and when things are said, I just need to brush it off. I have a plan for how I deal with these things. I actually have systems in place. And this week, we're going to talk all about creating systems that will help you to be successful, so that on those days that are a struggle, okay, I can keep moving forward. There's no question about it. You are going to remain 100% consistent, 100% committed, and you're going to hold that vision, because that vision is not just for you. That vision is for every person that will come into your life, onto your team, into your life. You are going to be the one that helps to provide that vision of the future. That's what a CEO does. And so my question is, are you willing to step up and step into that CEO role? Put CEO in the comments if you are. I'm curious, are you willing and ready to do that? Tomorrow, we're going to be talking all about leading with income actions, income producing actions. What are the things that can lead with income producing actions? Now, I'm going to do something totally different than I've ever done before. You'll notice we're 10 minutes early. I typically don't do this in our boot camps, but every day this week, I actually want to see, is there any questions that you have? Is there any coaching that you need? Is there anybody who is you've got something on your mind or your heart and you're like, okay, today I learned this, but how do I work through that? Or what's an idea here or there? And do you have any questions? And if so, let's get to them. Let's spend some time together. So the way that you can get chosen for a question is you can either put question in the comments, or you can just simply raise your hand on Zoom and you can put it in that way. Okay, Dr. Christine, let me stop sharing my screen real quick. And so you're going to be the first one up, but actually before I do that, I just realized for our YouTube viewers, we're going to remove this, and then I need to add in, I have to share my screen a different way. So give me just a sec, and then we will get to your question. Share screen. We are going to go to share audio, share a tab instead. Okay. Here we go. So we're going to open this up, and I think we're good. So we're going to, there we go. Okay, Christine, you are first, and then we have Valyn after that.
Hello, Mandy. Thank you.
Hi, how are you?
I'm great. Good to see you and everybody else.
So good to see you too.
So, first of all, I'm loving your academy. It fills me up. And on days when I really am struggling, I do listen to your replays and your content. So in case you ever wonder, yes, what you do works. And yes, we are grateful, and no, don't stop.
Oh my gosh, you're so sweet.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. That means so much to me. I love that.
You're welcome. So I am struggling with time blocking, right? So it seems like the more that I'm doing enrollments, which yay, I'm very grateful for. And a lot of that has to do with the skills that I've learned with you.
Amazing.
And so there's new enrollments, of course, and we seem to be able to focus on that. And then I'm focusing more on the LRP setup for the new enrollments. And then also reactivating people who've kind of like fallen by the wayside, usually because I was not, I take responsibility and I do have accountability for the ways that I've let that happen.
Right.
So of course, but I find like I'm on a call with a new enrollment and then it runs a little long and then someone's calling me back and it's like, oh, and I'm time blocking is my big question. So do you time block for each of those specific things? Do you do different days? There must be a better way for me to do that, because I feel like and then you have to, make the welcome packages and you have to make sure they get in a social box and you get them on the drip campaign. Do you have any pearls in that area for us?
I actually love this question because I think most of us have struggled with time blocking in the past. In fact, put time blocking or time in the comments if you've ever struggled with this. This was one of the biggest pivots for becoming the CEO of my business that I made. I realized that when I focused in on too many things, there was zero focus. So here's what I do. Every day I went through and I got my 5 days that I work Monday through Friday. And I decided, okay, Mondays, here are my mentoring days. And here's the time that I have for mentoring. I've got my team call on that day. Tuesdays are a marketing day. And so I'm going to create this. I'm going to do this. I also have follow-up in there. So instead of being like, oh, I got to follow up. Oh, but I got to do this. Oh, I got to send this email. It's like all those things, put it all onto a sheet of paper. And then when you have new enrollments, which congratulations, I'm so proud of you for having new enrollments. And I just love hearing the success of our Academy students. It just makes my heart so happy. But what I like to do is I'll tell those new enrollments, like I only send welcome packages out twice a month. Right. And so then you decide, okay, on those 2 times a month. They're going to be the second Wednesday and the fourth Wednesday of every month. And you're going to do that between 10 a.m. and 12 p.m., depending on what, how much time it's going to take you. And then, you don't have to worry about it. Like once it's scheduled, you're done. Same thing with putting them into Social Fox. Same thing with all of those things. I like to think, okay, I'm going to put them into Social Fox 3 times a week because we have a lot of enrollments that are coming in. So Monday, Wednesday, Friday at this time, that's when I'm going to take that time to do that. So just choose those activities. First, put them all onto a sheet and then fill them into your time. Now, the most important thing to put on your time blocking is follow-up. Follow-up for invites, follow-up for new enrollees, follow-up for customers. And I actually have that in my calendar in 4 different days for like an hour or 2 at a time, because for me, follow-up can be a little exhausting. And so I want to make sure that I can do it and I can be fresh because I'm talking with people and I'm like on and I'm energetic. And I know that after an hour or 2, I'm going to be terrible on the phone. And so I just put it in a couple times each week. So thank you for that question. Was that helpful?
Gosh, that was brilliant. Yes. Shoot, I had a tangential question and it's gone now.
Okay,
so real quick, is there a place in the Academy, if you don't mind? I know Joyce's retention videos are amazing and I love them. Is there a place where I can get just a tiny tutorial on how to add just a few, like every 2 weeks, add a few new enrollments, and do the tags? I don't do it enough, I guess. So it's the repetition isn't there. So I can't do it like that. And I'm finding that I have to go back and go through a very long, and that is time intensive. So I'm thinking you probably already have it somewhere and I just don't know where to look.
I'm not sure it's uploaded yet. So I will make sure this week can get that uploaded, because that, you can make that a lot more simpler. So
yes. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Okay, Belinda, I think you're next.
Hi.
Hi.
Thank you so much for taking my question. I absolutely love you. Thank you so much for all of the time that you take to help develop us. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, you're so sweet. You're so welcome.
So my question, I have a whole lot of questions, but I'm only going to ask one because this one I think is the most challenging thing that I have to face once I am developing my network marketing on social media. And it's this. I, maybe about 2 months ago, saw a blurb from a doctor that's holistic, that sent to all of us that follow him this information on how, as a social media wellness proponent, is having trouble he was sent this message or something like that, saying that because he advocates for wellness, that he's going to be restricted. And so he was trying to do a pivot. And I've seen that he isn't on YouTube and Facebook and all of that as much as I've seen, if I see him at all. So with that being the case for someone who had millions of followers, and then someone like me that's just getting started, how do I go around the fact that we can be controlled and not be able to get exposure to our audience that need us, if we have certain things that we're putting in our social media? So
this is a great question too. It's very important that we remain compliant. And that has to do with all aspects of wellness. If most network marketing, is done in the wellness space. And this is one reason why it's very important that you learn how to share your voice authentically, because people are going to, you've probably heard it say that stories sell, facts tell. And a lot of times we get stuck in this fact telling mode, which can often be uncompliant, instead of sharing stories. And even though stories can be uncompliant as well, and we have to learn how to share compliantly, really what we're trying to do is connect you with the people who will resonate with you. And so there's always going to be regulations. There's always going to be, we as a responsibility, like we have to be responsible for the things that we say, but you're developing your brand and your voice will help you kind of get around those regulations, because you won't need to say those things to share the products. And I remember when I was first getting on YouTube and I was like feeling so stifled, like I can't say anything about the products that we have. How am I going to do this? Well, here I am 4 years later with 10,000 subscribers, and I have been 100% compliant. And so it's really just learning how to speak compliantly and also share your voice and your passion in a very compliant way, which I fought for a long time. If you go back and look at my YouTube channel, you can see the only thing I did was I showed my hands and I was doing recipes, and you could just see my hands because I was like, I can't even speak. Like I felt like my voice had been shut down. And then I began realizing, wait a sec, there's a way to do this without having to feel like my voice has been shut down. And so just realize that's part of being online. It's okay. And you're sharing who you are and what you stand for in a compliant way will connect with the right audience. As long as you're doing that research, which we're going to be talking about the research, I think on day 3 this week. And so come back and hopefully you'll learn those things. So thanks so much for that question, Belinda. Hopefully that was helpful.
It was. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. All right. I think we got all of our questions in. And the replay will be sent out later this evening because I'm actually headed to our corporate headquarters to teach all of corporate about some of our products. Did anybody else have any other questions? Let me just make sure. Okay. Awesome. Perfect. Thank you for all the comments. Thank you for showing up. I hope that you come back tomorrow. I hope that you come back tomorrow and you're ready to take this to the next step, because I truly believe that you can be the best CEO for your business. I know you can be the best CEO for your business, but it's going to require that you show up consistently and that you develop the skills needed to be that CEO, to earn that income that you can achieve in the network marketing space. Thanks, everyone. Have a wonderful day. We'll chat with you soon. See you tomorrow. Bye. Thanks everyone for watching on YouTube. Go ahead and give us a thumbs up if you like this content. Hit that subscribe button and click the bell so you can be notified every time I upload a brand new video. If you're following us on Instagram, thanks for tuning in live. It was so fun having you here. Hopefully you got some value out of this today. We'll talk to you soon. See you later. Bye.